I wrote a little song to remind you, Choice Hotels get you more of the experiences you value. The Cambria Hotel's got it all. A rooftop bar, have a ball. Cocktails up here feel just right. Is Cambria amazing? Alright. Bring a date, your team, or even your mom. Book direct at choicehotels.com. See you on the roof.
Listen, all you New Yorkers.
Excuse me.
Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
A big decision from the U.S. Supreme Court today, essentially stripping, it allows Trump to go forward with these deportations being stripped from Syrians and Haitians, the temporary protective status. And just to give you an idea, 6,000 Syrians, 350,000 Haitians. I mean, it's a big population. And this is a huge win for President Trump. And who better to talk about it than Professor Alan Dershowitz? Professor, there is no way around this. This is an enormous one. And this was one that the Trump administration was pushing hard on.
Yeah, I think they're not going to get a win in the in the case that hasn't yet been decided about birthright citizen. So these are two important wins in a lead up to that. My own view is I'm much more sympathetic to immigrants and immigration on the merits. But legally, the Supreme Court was right. The President of the United States has the authority to prevent people from coming over the border and seeking asylum status. I wish he wouldn't do it. That's my personal view of the merits of it. But I do think he has the right to do it. So the Supreme Court is right, and I wish they weren't, but they are.
Well, one of the big reasons, too, also that not Haitians as a population, but he's been certainly upset about what he's seen in Minnesota with all of the fraud and all the other cases, right? And he's been hamstrung to do anything about it.
Yeah, that's understandable, but I think you shouldn't generalize about everybody in a particular group. And, of course, the issue of not permitting immigrants who are not in the country to seek asylum status is completely different. It applies to everybody, not just Haitians and others. And as the dissent pointed out, let's remember the St. Louis when 900 Jewish immigrants were trying to get asylum in the United States and in Cuba, and Franklin Delano Roosevelt turned them away, and about half of them were killed in the Holocaust. So, there are strong arguments for allowing people who are really in danger of losing their life seeking asylum without necessarily crossing the border into the United States. But as a legal, constitutional matter, President Trump was right, and the Supreme Court rendered the right decision on the merits of the constitutional law.
Joe Weinberg.
Alan, so the days are going quickly. They have to make all these decisions and clean up the calendar by the end of the month. And as you correctly point out, one of the most important cases is a birthright citizenship case. Would you explain to our audience why that's such an important case?
Well, because there are many, many people who get citizenship in the United States just by being born here. And you have at least a few who are born here, they leave, they have no connection to the country, they're not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, and they claim birthright citizenship. I think what the Supreme Court is going to say is that Congress has a role to play. They can define who is subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. And so you get a foreigner coming to America for a vacation or even just passing over America, flying to another country. Child's born here, never spends a day here, doesn't learn the language, doesn't pay a penny in taxes, and then 25 years later claims American citizenship. There's no good argument for that because that person was not subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. And Congress could make that clear. So I suspect we're going to see a split decision that the court will rule against the president on the broad issue of birthright, but will say, look, Congress can change it and make it more difficult to be a birthright citizen.
You think that's going to be a close decision, Alan?
I think so. I think that's one of the reasons why it's the last decision. You know, they're now finished. There's one more decision they have to make, and that is in my case. They have been in conference 5 times now and haven't decided my case against CNN, which makes some people think maybe they'll grant review. Others think maybe they'll deny review, but there'll be a dissenting opinion. But, my challenge to New York Times versus Sullivan is still pending in the Supreme Court and probably will be decided on Monday.
Wow. Oh, that's interesting. Wow. You got to come on after that.
Yeah. I'm happy to do it.
Wow.
It's my wife's birthday.
Oh, hey, happy birthday to your wonderful wife.
So I'm taking her out to a really nice, fancy dinner with my daughter and my son-in-law. And we're going to have a real celebration on Martha's Vineyard. Nobody else may talk to us on the vineyard, but our family is still very close. And I love my wife, and I'm so happy that she is a happy and healthy 75-year-old.
Well, give her our love, please, and birthday wishes too.
Where's the happy birthday song?
Yeah, where's the birthday song for your wife? Is she around there? Can she hear it?
She is. Yeah.
Well, here it is. Here it is.
Maybe.
You're celebrating with 1 million people now.
Congratulations.
Yeah, happy birthday to your wonderful wife.
Thank you.
Oh, yay! Oh, that's great.
She really appreciates it. And so does my daughter, who's sitting here, too.
Have a great one.
Thank you for allowing me to announce my wife's wonderful birthday.
How beautiful.
Wonderful.
Yay, the crowd's going crazy. Look, the crowd's going crazy, Professor.
Yeah, I can see the balloons. They're
Thank you, Professor. Have a great dinner and give your wife a big hug.
Thanks.
Thank you.